Hi, chat. I don't know. Well, here, this is not. There we go. Hold on. This is not. No, I don't want that camera. There we go. Anyways, welcome, guys. Welcome. It is Tuesday night, and we have updates. Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder in the state of Texas. He's actually getting sentenced today. The way it works in Texas, the jury has the ability. The jury doesn't have the ability. The jury has the duty of sentencing. And they have the obligation of determining how long he goes to prison for, whether it's 5 years minimum up to 99 years as a maximum. So anywhere from 5, 6, 7, all the way up. All the way up. And we'll find out what happened. I mean, to be fair, was anybody really surprised? I don't think so. It's not really, it shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. I mean, really, when you think about what happened here. Also, by the way, if you guys are new here, my name's Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an attorney, an Ohio licensed attorney who just moved to Florida, so figure that one out. But no, this is something we covered Karmelo Anthony back when everything kicked off. And I was willing to say, kind of spitball, there might have been some theories that may have had some merit, but obviously, as this case has gone on, those immediately all got shot down. Was there a disparity of force? Was he getting ganged up on? And no, we found out really it was just Karmelo, just one of the Metcalf brothers came up to him and told him, get the hell away. And that's what we've learned has happened. So, sorry guys, I'm moving this up a little higher, so a little better. So I think it's, nobody should be surprised at this outcome. Karmelo had no reason to stab, he had no reason to do any violence. Nobody was hurting him. Nobody was threatening him. He was dicking around where he wasn't supposed to be. And we talked about this before. Karmelo sounds like he had a little bit of history of violence, and he was very much in a situation where he's like, I don't take no shit from nobody. You ain't going to tell me what to do. And he had been doing that throughout his life, and finally he ran into people who weren't, buying the wolf tickets he was selling. And at that point, he had to panic and go, I got my magic wand, and stab. Well, that's what that gets you. That's what that gets you. That's why it's, it's better in life not to go running around like a fucking asshole. That's really the answer here. Oh, jeez. That's really the answer to all of this at this point. Also, guys, I apologize if you might say, wow, the studio's not set up too well. Yeah, no, my office, when everything got moved down, kind of became the catch-all spot. So I've got all kinds of crap in here I still need to move around. New state and still gay, yes. I've not had a public sub yet. So I'm in his bunker, yes. Do you think they're making s'mores in Belfast? Well, we're going to talk about that next as well. I got a haircut. I got a haircut before I left. Oh, mute my Discord? Oh, I didn't realize that was running. Oh, crap. Sorry, chat. I didn't realize I was doing that. I forgot this on the laptop, so it's not set for. It's not set for that. Sounds. I don't want any sounds. There we go. That should take care of it. Sorry, chat. But yes, there's a lot going on out there today, and we'll go through some of it. We'll go through some of the protests and people that are outside. I mean, some of these people are shit stirring, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are studio not set up, but my goon rolls are ready. KRM's good to see you, man. Says we're never getting a blacksmith stream. Probably not till September at least. my anvil made it down. And the moving company was like, an anvil? They're like, what the fuck? You're like, what do you mean you got an anvil? And I'm like, I got an anvil. The guy's like, all right. And he wrote it up as part of the thing. But the anvil and the anvil stand made it down. I do not have my burners, my forge. So, I could just sit there and just go pink, pink, pink. But yeah, we'll try to do that at some point here. That will be the game plan. But good to see you, man. Half-Fire says, how's 2.0? She is doing very well. She's moisturized and thriving in her own lane. She's doing really good. I am so happy for her. I really, really, really am. It's a lot of good news been coming her way. The house here, everything's working well. Up north, things are getting taken care of. Her job, everything's going really, really good. The doggos are doing great. I'm here. I'm hoping she's enjoying that because I'm getting stuff done while she's at work. But no, all in all, 2.0 is doing amazing, and I'm so very happy for her. I'm happy for us too, but I'm really happy that she's in a good spot. She's worked really hard for a long time. Has Styx been arrested yet? I don't know. I heard Styx ditched his pirate costume, which is funny. Are the cats still assholes? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So, but yes, guys, going back through all of this, and I'm just double checking to see if there's any updates on Karmelo. At this point, and I don't know if there's been an update yet. I think the jury's still out on that, so it's a second phase. I mean, honestly, I think he should probably. I don't think he's going to get 99 years, but he definitely needs if he gets 30 years, I think that's fair. At least, I mean, this kid was screwing around, shouldn't have been doing it, and why was he there? It was such a stupid thing to stab this kid over. Why'd you stab him? Because I was sitting in their stuff and they told me to leave, and I said, no, I ain't taking no shit from nobody. Such a dumb fucking... And I ain't say like that. It is a stupid reason to throw your life away. Because, yeah, you go to prison. Well, why'd you kill that guy? Was it important? No, I was sitting under their tent and I was being an asshole. And one of the guys stood up to me and told me quit being an asshole, and I stabbed him. I mean, that's how you want to go down. It's just, yeah. Border deportees, what happens if they can't agree on a sentence? I don't know. I don't know about that one. That I'm not a Texas attorney. I can't tell you on that. T-Rex Travel says, I didn't do this. This is the kid who stabbed the track meet. Yes. And, we're going to go through all of that. We're going to talk about what happened in Belfast and what's going on right there right now. We're going to go through a bunch of this stuff here, but we're going to start with just kind of recapping what happened because we have the police report. We have the full police report. Before we get too far, though, it's a tale of two kids. On the right, you have Austin Metcalf. On the left, you have Karmelo Anthony. And that's where we start. Both kids in high school. That is... Let me see here. Justice has been served. I mean, it all depends. If he gets 5 years, it definitely hasn't. If he gets 30 plus years, I would say yes. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad if this guy gets 50 some years. He's not, I mean, we've seen some of the things he's done. He's been very violent to people. He thinks violence is something he can use to get his way. He's not suitable for society. So here's the hoping he's not getting out anytime soon. Good to see you, Flash. Good to see you. Is he in custody yet? Yes. The judge took him into custody immediately upon the guilty verdict. His attorneys asked, like, "Can we have a second?" The judge is like, "Things move differently now," and that's true. Once you get found guilty, that's it. The cuffs come on. You get led into the back. You don't get to walk out the front. Nope. That's it. That is the one word: guilty. Everything changes. You are now in custody. All kinds of stuff. So, yeah, he is not having a good time right now. I'm sure he's weeping like a little bitch. And honestly, I bet he's probably sitting there thinking, I should have just done what they said. I should have just left them alone. Why did I have to decide to kick it off with everybody? Why did I have to decide to carry around a knife and start threatening people if they try to kick me out of their own place? That's yeah. The report say he was sobbing. It wasn't out of remorse though. Maybe a little bit. Who knows? We don't really know. T-Rex Travels for $4.99 says, I was very confused while everything looked wrong with the camera looking up instead of slightly down. Yeah, well, I'm using the laptop. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll have the rig. We'll have the rig set up and, we'll get the Beat Lab looking a little more like it should be. But thank you for the super chat. Also, guys, thank you last night. We were hanging out with David. I didn't realize we were going to go that long. But you guys, thank you for showing some love out there last night. Appreciate it very, very much. Whack Trap says, somebody on Twitter. Guys, there's someone on Twitter. And they're not a ghost account. Says it doesn't matter. All the jury's job is to see if the state proved their case. Yeah, it does. And that's correct. But I'm saying we learned all kinds of extraneous information that help us just kind of like, let us get a little more context there. No cameras in court will feed verdict denial, according to Jefferson Post. Yeah, and I think the judge was foolish to not allow cameras in. Like, they definitely should be there. Definitely. Shree's been a member for 29 months. It's a long time. Thank you for being here, Shree. Says, can the jury use his age as a mitigation factor for sentencing? Yeah, why can't they? I don't know Texas, things, but the jury can factor in whatever they want to. Certainly mitigation. He doesn't have a record. He led a law-abiding life up to this point. This appears to, they might argue, there's a bunch of things you can argue. Situation that it probably won't likely happen again. They can believe he's shown some remorse by seeing him bawl his eyes out. All kinds of different reasons. Sure, his age too. Sure. Nothing prohibiting that. It's going to be up to them what they decide. Jefferson Post also has the heat. Oh my God, it was awful today. It was like actual Florida humidity for once. And I was like, ugh. It was tough. I was working on, I had to put a grill together. I had to get some, other stuff put together for 2.0. And I'm just, dying outside. Yeah, and, it's not that I'm I need to get adjusted, but also not be fat. Fair Frozen says he threw his whole life away over respect. Yeah. Yeah. This is, I'm sure, this is one of those deals. I've had clients do this before. It's all about respect, man. And I'm like, are you going to sit there and thump your chest about respect when you sit there and it's the 6th or 7th Christmas in a row? Or your kid keeps calling you on the phone and says, Daddy, when are you coming home? It's all about respect. It's like, okay. So I've had clients had to deal with that. You wanted respect, and it's like, great, now you don't see your kid grow up. But you got your respect. Everybody in that tent knows Karmelo meant business. I guess that's what you want. Test channel, wow. Nice I can do. Christopher Watkins says, became a YouTube member. Thank you. Also, guys, I am going to get the new, the final studio update from Ohio, and then I'll get a new one in here soon. So we'll work on that. Bill said for $5 says, isn't that the common story? How much crime would be avoided if one party just left the other the fuck alone? Yeah, and that's the thing. Austin had the right. Like, those kids did not want Karmelo there. He had no right to be where he was. They're like, just leave us alone. And he wanted to start a fight over it. It's like, just fucking walk away. Just walk away. There's no need for you to risk your life over this stuff. And IG88 says, Sulfa Tarmello. Waffini. And then January 6 2.0 says, what do you think are the chances the Metcalfs could sexually sue the GoFundMe money? Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. It sounds like the Metcalfs aren't that like wanting to do that anyway. They're about healing. Like, when it first happened, the dad was all like, no, about stuff. I don't think you'd be able to get at it anyway. When keeping it real goes wrong. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Michelle for $9.99. Thank you, Michelle. I think your new face here. Thank you. Says Karmelo could have pled guilty and his sentence have been lighter. Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. And we're going to talk about this for a second. Maybe. We don't know that, because if it got to that point, then I think he still could have got 99 years. There's no guarantee. I mean, and there's no guarantee to anything, but I have serious concerns that Karmelo's attorneys were not acting, as I mentioned before, it's kind of like, do you have an activist attorney or do you have a defense attorney? Because if it's kind of like the Antifa guys in Texas, if your attorney's all about like making the political spectacle, he ain't worried about defending you. It's like, what about defending your client? What? How does any of that help your client? And I don't know. Karmelo got co-opted politically by his own side very quickly. So we'll see what happened there. Rowan's been a member for 21 months, says, have you had a Publix sub yet? No. I went to Publix yesterday, though. It was very nice in there. Yeah, still pricey, though. I mean, God, this would have been a very expensive supermarket up in Ohio. Like, Giant Eagle would have been cheaper. And Giant Eagle ain't the cheapest up there. So, we'll see. We'll see, though. The Metcalfs refuse to testify in sentencing to support their own dead son. Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's going to be rough there. Do you think sudden passion will be used to lower the sentence? I mean, no, because it's not sudden passion. It's murder. It's not manslaughter. I think, Karmelo, clearly was walking around with a chip on his shoulder, and he was going to cause harm. That's... I think he was out cruising for a bruising. So, yeah, Publix is expensive. We might go to cheaper at HEB. I don't think we have those over here. I'm surprised the defense wasn't objecting to the questions. Was that self-defense? Well, Razoxin, I mean, the problem is there were some of the witnesses and saying, did you think it was self-defense? Did you think that Austin deserved to get killed? You run into problems like trying to object to that stuff. I mean, I don't understand how Karmelo's team kept this going. They should have been asking for a plea. They should have been trying to work this out. This idea, we're going to take it to the box. I mean, this thing where a bunch of people saw him take a knife and bury it right in that kid's chest. And then he, just like the Nikolai Mew trial, he takes a knife, ditches the knife, basically tries to change his identity and blend in. I don't know how you're walking away from that thinking you're winning $1 million here. You're not. There's, there are times where based on how things would have shaken out in the discovery, there was stuff we didn't get to know. Was there multiple kids ganged up on him, say they were going to beat him? Nope, that didn't happen. Did Austin Metcalf, who was a big dude, threaten to hurt him? Nope. We learned that from all the witnesses who testified through the news reports, that the witnesses just said, like, hey, man, please leave. And, Karmelo's like, fuck you, I'll do what I want. Even Austin, one of his teammates, who was a black kid, he's like, he was my brother. He was my bro. And this kid didn't have to kill him. And, that tells you a lot when, everybody on his team was like, this was completely uncalled for. Nobody's like, yeah, I think it would have been necessary. Now, sure, are they biased? They're on a team? Sure. But once again, that's kind of another life lesson. Don't go fucking around with a group of people who you're not part of. Guess who they're going to back normally? not you. So, can the family sue for wrongful death? Yeah, but Carmelo Anthony's 18 years old. He's got no money. He's going to have no money. So there's no point in suing him. Now, could they sue the schools? Sure. But it doesn't seem like they're that type of people. There's not a whole lot of people you could sue here. More or less. And it's kind of one of the things you have to consider. Where are you getting money from and who are you trying to get the money through? Luke says heat of passion is weird. Texas it does get decided. Well, then, yeah, it might be. I don't think this was the heat of passion, though. This wasn't the heat of the moment. Like, Carmelo, sounds like an asshole. And he had a chip on his shoulder, and ain't nobody going to tell. I guarantee you, for Carmelo Anthony, that morning, before all this started happening, ain't nobody telling him what the fuck to do. And I say that because you know how many clients I've had with that? Nobody tells me what the fuck to do. I do what I want. And then they get indicted for felonious assault or attempted murder or something bad happens. Actually, yeah, people can tell you to do what you want. So they're allowing Southern Passion to be considered. Well, they shouldn't. But you know what? Fine, give it to him. He's still going to go away. I don't think heat of the moment matters here because it wasn't a heat of the moment. It wasn't something that happened. This guy was basically trespassing inside. Imagine if it was an actual enclosed tent. And he's dicking around in somebody else's stuff. If you are in track, if you're in wrestling, at a wrestling tournament, the team has their spot. You don't go rooting through people's shit. If you're there, people are going to tell you get the fuck away from it. They don't want you stealing their stuff. They don't want you hassling each other. So I don't think it's heat of the passion. Carmelo was just an asshole of a human being. He probably got away with doing this a long time, and nobody ever put him in his place, and the Metcalfs finally did. Let me see here. What are you guys saying? Aaron's saying, well, asking the witnesses in self-defense is not asking an absolute, is it a legal conclusion? To an extent it can be, and I would have brought that up ahead of time. But the problem is, did it look like self-defense to you? What did it look like? Who was in the right? Did it look like he was defending himself? That's still an issue. You get to a problem there. And I think that's the biggest problem for Carmelo is they can say to me it didn't look like it was necessary. And that's still a problem that kept popping up in this stuff. Also, guys, we have 500 people here, 300 on Twitter. Welcome, guys, if you're new. My name's Sean. I'm an attorney. I'm an Ohio licensed attorney. I just moved to Florida literally Saturday. So we're still kind of unpacking stuff here. But we're going through Carmelo Anthony and what happened and why it was probably a good idea. Let's see here. Mario, you're right. Mario is another attorney. He's saying sometimes there's no client control. Sometimes they dig in, or maybe family had a different view of the facts if they're on the wrong view. Sure, and that's always a problem. Your client gets gassed up by friends and family. That happens a lot, especially when you're, regardless of socioeconomic standing. I've had well-off clients. I've had very poor clients. I've had appointed clients, retained clients, whatever it is. Clients when I was the public defender represent people. They get gassed up by their family and their friends and tell them, no, it ain't how it happened. Or they believe the problem is you feed them a bunch of bullshit and then they eat that bullshit and then they feed it back to you and you believe it. And you guys kind of just feed off each other. And that leads to very delusional situations. And, there's times where the amount of times I've sat in my office, sat there with my client and, his family, especially when they're younger people, when they're, teens or 20s. And they're like, well, how did it happen that way? I'm like, fine, here, watch. And you just hit play on the body camera. You hit play on the security camera footage. And, it's like people, It's like if you showed an Aztec person, an Aztec, a horse for the first time. They're like, what is this thing? And it completely destroys them. And I said, we're going to come back tomorrow after you've had a chance to process that. Because I've just destroyed the entire narrative these people have built for themselves. That could happen. Also, Karmelo could just say, fuck it, I want to go to trial. And also, being an 18-year-old punk, I could see that. I could see him being completely not understanding what he's getting into. But I have the feeling it's a lot more likely that he was getting gassed up by external sources, or, my biggest concern is, were his attorneys activists first and defense attorney second, which is very dangerous. Very dangerous. You have to be a defense attorney first. The rest of it can't go to the head. Maybe they really believe that he didn't do nothing wrong. I don't know. So my camera is tweaking out. Is it? Is it still there? What about the defense funds? Can't that be targeted? No, because that was money raised for the, not only for the defense, but also for the family. So yeah, no. Karmelo's attorneys yesterday stopping work there. They were public defenders, really? I think that this must have been Karmelo. Then my concerns about him being activist are not founded, and that's good. Sounds like Karmelo was ignorant about this and thought he had a chance, because any attorney worth his salt would have said, dude, you're toast. He's completely toast. He's completely toast. Can he file for ineffective assistance of counsel? You can, but remember, and I've mentioned this before, it's the Strickland versus Washington. It's a Strickland test from the Supreme Court in Strickland v. Washington. There's a couple things you have to prove to get ineffective assistance. Number one, you have to identify something they did that was wrong, that was procedural or structural, something an attorney wouldn't do. Or more importantly, more commonly, it's something that they didn't do that other attorneys would do. And then you have to show the second part of this, which is really hard. You have to show this had a reason. Had they done this thing, or more important, had they done the thing, or in case they did something wrong, had they not done that thing, that would have changed the outcome of a reasonable chance of changing the outcome of the trial. And that's a big problem. That's why when you hear stories about attorneys falling asleep at trial, attorneys doing this, that, or the other, a lot of times people are, guys, remember, there's a reason why most cases end in pleas. You tell on yourself. They got you dead to rights. You left DNA at the crime scene. You're on camera. You talk about it. Any number of things. You drop your cell phone. I've had clients do that before. How did they figure out I was in this robbery? You dropped your cell phone in the scuffle, man, and you took off, and the police found it. There's a bunch of different reasons why. You have to think about that. So yeah, maybe not. I don't think there's anything I can be aware of. And people reporting would have brought that up. The jury just reached a decision on sentencing. Good. It's sad we can't see it. Because I would like to know what's going on there. He got the best public defender and he fired it. Oh, well. That's what I thought. I thought he ended up with retained counsel. So, camera showing me, but only in blackface. Funny. Been the once as an 8-year-old punk, yeah. Well, he's 19 now, but at the time he was like 18 or 17 or 18, yeah. So, wasn't fair trial. Austin punched him. Breon Mitchell saying, let's say that he punched him. You have to meet force with proportionality. That's a big thing. If I punch you, you generally are limited to punching back. You still have to articulate, now that said, it depends. Proportionality. If I'm punching you in the face, I'm a big fat guy. Not really going to be able to hurt you too much. You should have to punch me back. You don't get to pull out a baseball bat and beat me with it. You don't get to pull out a gun. Your force has to be proportional. You have to generally meet the scale. Now, once you get to deadly force, yeah, you can go to 11 right away. If you pull out a knife, I can pull out a gun. You know, I'm on the ground and you're kicking me with a shod foot and with a boot on. Yeah, that's deadly force. I can kill you with a knife or a gun or a baseball bat and cave your skull in. You know, I'm allowed to go to 11 at that point. But if someone punches you, you're limited to an extent on what you can do. Let's just say that hypothetically happened. Stabbing somebody is way out of bounds and not proportional. You know, and once again, Karmelo is not sympathetic. You know, when he shows up to these people's tent and starts running around just screaming, "Fuck you, I'll do what I want. Fuck you, you ain't gonna do nothing." Jury hears that they're not sympathetic to you. You're not. It wasn't like he's like, "Oh, excuse me, guys, I just like to stay out of the rain. May I hang out with you, good gentlemen, today, please?" That didn't happen. He said, "Fuck you, I'll do what I want." And guess what? The jury's not going to really buy the idea that, like, you know, oh, you're being reasonable and all that. Now, if he just said, like, "Oh, golly, guys, I'm getting wet. Can I hang out with you?" The jury might have been like, "Okay, yeah, it's reasonable. Why did all the mean kids come after him?" Zoit says, Zodiate says, "Is this the dude who stabbed a kid?" Yes. Yes. So freedom of speech. There's no freedom of speech there. I mean, there's no freedom of speech issue. I don't think the photos of him acting gangster really matter because all of those came in at the trial. Yes, there has been a lot of fan fiction, but it's just like Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, people think Kyle Rittenhouse murdered like 50 black people while, you know, doing Heil Hitler's the whole way down the street. There's a lot of, yeah, but I mean, it happens in a lot of cases. Communities will get their own fan fiction going. And Sarah Brown says, "Wait, how are people who are sympathetic for a violent monster who knifed a kid at school functions?" Because people, I think a lot of people believe the narrative that they've been fed, and it allows them to then just get lazy and say, "Well, it's about the race, and I want to protect my race." So, I mean, that's a very common thing there. I agree. There's no clear evidence of punch, but I was speaking hypothetically. He did stab with words, yeah. Um, Breon Mitchell says Carmelo's not a gangster. He might not be a gangster, but it sounds like he was kind of a shithead of a kid. So, you know, like to fuck around, and then he found out. Adam is saying the family spending all the money is a smart play. He was guilty either way. Might as well enjoy the money. I mean, maybe, but if they did that, like, that's pretty crazy. And they're just like, "We're going to live it on up with this money. And then, you know, we know you're going away right now, bro. So we'll do that." Been the one says, "Look at you dodging me." Like, is that a joke about Carmelo or what? I'm confused. Austin didn't punch anyone. I agree, but I'm just saying, even if he did, like, once again, hypothetically, assuming for the sake of argument that happened, it didn't, but let's say it happened, still no excuse to stabbing Austin Metcalf in the chest with a knife. Still no excuse. Let's see here. Do we have mods here? We can time this guy out because this is kind of getting retarded. Like, I only have one rule, guys. Really, no TOS and no spamming. So, if we have to take care of that, that's what we're doing here now. So, sorry, I got to take care of this because apparently we're, you know, been the one. Sorry, brother, but I got the rule. No spamming. Like, we got it. We read your message. We're not doing this more. So, I'm sorry. Oh, you guys got it. Okay, thank you. The mods were asleep. The mods were asleep. Okay, so let's see here. We do have some stuff to go over here. We got we got enough mods out here, so it's okay. It's Jerry Maxing, lol, yeah. If you're in a room with Karmelo Anthony's mom, what would I say to her? I mean, right now, there's nothing I could say. I mean, her son's probably going away for a long time. I really would have told her, like, they really need to take a plea. They really, because I'm sure part of this, the state may not have been looking to offer something, but if word got out that they were looking to plea, the Metcalfs would have been raising holy hell to let this kid plea. I mean, they've been very conciliatory to Karmelo. And I presume that they would love to see that. I mean, apparently going to this trial put them through hell. So certainly avoiding that, I think they would have appreciated that. But yeah, I think that would have, but yeah, now there's nothing I could say, but it's like, what were you thinking is what I tell his mom. But at the end of the day, it's her son, it's her baby. No different than my mom. My mom, you know what? And that's the thing. Like, if I did something, my mom's gonna be there. My baby didn't do nothing wrong either. My fat son, Sean, he didn't do nothing wrong. She'd have it's your mom. That's how this goes. So, what would likely a plea be? I don't know. Probably at least 25 years or something. I could see that. Now we have some things as far as videos out there of there's a lot going on out there, and one of the ones I thought was very interesting was this lady here. She starts going on and loses her damn mind, and it's like, it's not. This is just a great example of what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why are we losing our mind over this crap? So here you go. Here's a woman out in front of the courthouse as things were going. Oh, will you do a members show? Yeah, maybe we'll work on that. Yeah, and it's very interesting what this lady does here. So here we go. I think the sound's up all the way, guys.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for it. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
Rest in peace, Trey.
They could have 100% walked away. Karmelo could have walked away. Are you telling me Karmelo had nowhere to go? Karmelo had everywhere to go. He could have just walked away. They told him to leave. He could have just left. What do you tell them? Like, yeah, just walk away.
Martin, let me ask you this right now. I hear.
What do you want us to do?
I mean, just tell your kids, don't be dumb fucks. Just don't be retarded about it. Like, it's very simple. It's very simple. Very, very simple. There's some more stuff here. This is the race hustlers are coming out. And this is the Next Generation Action Network. So this is another hustler here coming out and doing stuff here. Hold on here, chat. I'm trying to. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss. Guys, if you have comments out here, I'm trying to look for them. So it's problem is I'm using my laptop here, so it's going too fast. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't stab. He had his hands up. Did Ben Crump ever come out? No, but this is like another version of Ben Crump. So this is another race hustler coming out here to hustle.
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process, interfered in this process. But what this process did is showing that black lives do not matter in Collin County. It showed us that time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. This trial showed that it put emotions over the law. After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names, it has shown us that black life is not safe in Collin County. It showed us that they did not listen to the law. It showed clearly that a judge interfered in this process. It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed not one black soul on a jury. An all white jury convicted him in 2 to 3 hours. We know that they did not prove their case.
I mean, honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie here. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes. Like, I didn't think the jury as an old attorney, as my mentor says, they were going to take long enough to go take a crap. Somebody has to go take a crap, and then they come back out and, give their verdict. And I've had 20-minute verdicts before. You go out there, the jury comes back 20 minutes guilty, bam, done. Like, I'm surprised it took them 2 to 3 hours. Like, I give them credit for really delivering. Like, I think they made sure they did everything. But it was very interesting that it took 2 to 3 hours. Like, it could easily have been a lot less. And I would have understood that. I would have totally understood that. So let's get back to this here and keep going.
They are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process.
You're going to need a lot more. $10,000. You're going to need a lot more than $10,000, buddy. $10,000 gets you the transcripts. $10,000, man. Oh, that's a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the bucket. Brandon Wood says the only reason it took so long was I had a jury once like that. They got lunch, and I'm pretty sure they waited, like lunch was coming. They wanted their free lunch. They got their lunch, and it was like the nice pizza joint in town. It was really good pizza, by the way. And they sat there, had their, they had their sandwiches, some had subs, some had pizza. Yeah. And that totally happens. That totally happens. I do think it's funny. He's like, we made sure we didn't interfere. Although you guys are saying the Next Generation Action Network, that's because the National Action Network was Al Sharpton's and Jesse Jackson's organization. So that's why they're calling themselves the Next Generation Action Network.
But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. We are. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation.
What did I do wrong? Why are we hating on internet lawyers? I really am a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. Who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? I am a real attorney.
I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation.
Yeah, I don't know how you navigated this situation for them because it doesn't sound like you did a good job. If you guys had a hand in this and helping push him to trial, shame on you. Shame on you. This is not something that should have gone to trial. The facts in this don't set up going to trial. It is that bad. It is that bad. Yeah, not a lawyer, yes. Not a lawyer, no. No. Not a lawyer. Yeah, it's funny how that's all going on. Bear in the Woods for $5. Thank you. It says all Karmelo had to do was watch the first 5 minutes of Boondocks Season 1, Episode 4. Yup. For the Nibba moment. Jefferson Post says ineffective assistance accounts due to activism. No, because once again, it's like if they did the rest of the job fine, then yeah, they'll be all right. Axios says when you're in Florida, you pay a premium in public to avoid the people who can't pay the premium. Well, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Now, somebody brought up to me, they messaged me earlier saying, was it a bad idea for Karmelo not to testify? Normally in self-defense, yeah, jury's going to want to hear what you had to say, but here's the problem for Karmelo. He's going to get subject to cross-examination, and his previous incidents of being violent, I'm sure Karmelo would be baited into saying something where he could be impeached with prior bad acts. Number one. Number two, he's going to be going up against a prosecutor who, that's like going up against Ray Lewis or Gronk. You're going against a professional athlete. They know the game better than you ever will. And learning as you go on the stand while you fight for your life is a tough, tough time. There's sometimes people that do it. Like Kyle Rittenhouse did it. It worked out okay. George Zimmerman did it. But yeah, I don't think him testifying would have changed much here. In fact, I think it would have made it even worse. Although he got convicted, so I don't know how much worse it could have gotten. But it would not have helped him. It would not have helped him at all here. Bald Eagle 1787 for $5 says the money from the Give Send Go was used to rent a McMansion, buy Cadillacs, hire security service, and buy ship from Amazon. Yeah, well, hey, they need that to survive, keep the family safe. Rowan says for $5, as a fellow sandwich enjoyer, the pub subs are the best for the money. I still haven't had, but I'll try it. Glad UN 2.0 made it down safely. Now drive south to do some iguana hunting. Well, I finally saw a gecko today, and Clyde tried to eat it, so it was kind of funny. Roscoe says, I can't afford a 3D printer because I'm giving money to Sean. Well, thank you. Muffin Man says, good luck in Florida. Well, thank you. I hope so. Sleazy is saying, I wasn't sleeping. I was encouraging the Irish, the RADLC. The Irish Red Army DLC. You apparently can't put the IRA together. It gets censored. Anonymous for $5 says Sean's mom. My mom. Mama Criminal saying, he didn't make those sandwiches, Your Honor. Yeah. Breon Mitchell says, Karmelo said, don't touch me, we cool. Austin touched him, now dead. Sure, but you also were being asked to leave. You can't just keep staying sitting there. Keep guns. Very apropos name. Can't get wrong with that. Don't unalive immigrants on trains. Don't do substances and incite the police. Don't unalive people just because they upset you. It's damn simple. Yeah. Just don't kill people. Just don't kill people. Not everything is something we have to kick it off over. I've had clients with this before, and I've asked them, like, why are we kicking it off every 5 seconds? Like, do we have to kick it off with everybody? Oh, I didn't like that guy. I'm like, and I've had asked for people before, like, do you kick it off with everybody you deal with? Like it's a horrible way to live your life and leads to bad outcomes like this. Titty Connoisseur says, Sean, you're defending Helms Deep with a modern and fully armed and equipped U.S. Infantry Battalion. I'm hoping it's a Ranger Battalion. One of them, like 2nd Battalion or something. What song do you play in the stadium loudspeakers to kick off the ambush of Saruman's Uruk-hai horde? Oh, I don't know. I'd probably do Thunderstruck, but it's got to be the version where they're at the concert. It's Thunderstruck Live, where you hear the crowd just going. It's like, that would probably be a good way to do it. I think that'd be a fun one. All right. Let's see here. Well, you guys, a lot of comments. You guys got stuff to say. Let me see here. Yeah, that guy's grifting. Yes. Are you a licensed attorney in Florida? No, I have to take the bar exam in Florida. You're not allowed to just come down and be an attorney. So I have to wait till February to take the bar exam. Heyman King says, why can he literally lie to get to instigate a race war / conflict? I mean, that's the beauty of agitprop. That's the beauty of agitprop there. So that's how it goes. Let me see here. Paper towels, only the finest types of paper to put on shelves. That's not paper towels. Those are, I think that's toilet paper. That's some shit roll. That's some shit paper there. Some shit tickets. So, can you call me a carpetbagger now? Yes. So, I heard he cried so hard it hurt his heart. I'm sure he was inconsolable and sobbing and probably crying like a little baby. Like, there's no way in hell he did it. No way in hell he did it. No way in hell he did it. Let's see if there's any update. Did he get sentenced yet? 35 years in prison. Parole eligibility in half the time. So he's got 17 and a half years. I mean, that's not... he's lucky. He's lucky. J-Rocks, I'll get to that. I'll get your super chats here in a second. So, yeah, it's 35 years. I mean, I think it should be more, but I'm not upset with that number. Silver Sergeant for $2. Thank you for being here. I think you're a new face. Saying every decision Karmelo's parents made was wrong. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what every decision they did. You know, there are some times where parents have kids who just turn out to be shitbirds. So who knows? But yes, I would agree. Generally speaking, mom and dad are the reason why kids are what they are. Jefferson Post says court footage is needed to fight the race grifters. I think so. I think we needed that, but for whatever reason, this judge did that, and I think that is, once again, I think you should be able to fire up court and look for cameras everywhere you can. V to me, just good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I know you're having a little rough time last week. Base free lunch enjoyers. I enjoy free food too at focus groups. Focus groups pay well too. By the way, I just got here. Are you in your Florida house? Yes, I am in the Florida house. Yes, thank you for $5. J-Rock says, for $5. Jailed at last, jailed at last. Shank that white boy in his white boy ass. He's fried, he's calamari. Whoa, buddy. Thank you. Quoting the great Dr. King there. Demon's Wrath's been a member for 17 months. Says, my endless gaping maw hungers for TND. Well, thank you. Jefferson Post says, was a juror. We found a verdict right after lunch. Yeah, that's, like I said, I've heard it happening. BTube says, I shouldn't say this, but it's a fun fact. I'm an heir to both the Pillsbury Corporation and Quiznos Subs. I wouldn't be proud of the Quiznos Subs thing, but I would be proud of the Pillsbury thing. That's what I would say there. Oh, hey, Clyde, come here. Come here, Bubby. Do you want up? Come here. Come here, Clyde. Well, I guess no Clyde. Sorry. No chat. No Clyde for you, chat. Probability of being a repeat offender? Actually, I don't know. I don't know. Do I think what do you mean by repeat offender? Is he going to murder someone again? No. Can I see him having a tough time with things? Sure. But really anybody going to prison and having a felony record and, he's going to have some level of notoriety. It's going to be tough for him. I see him. Yes.
In chat, see him?
I don't know. He's not coming over here. Come here, buddy. Come on. Oh, there you go. Oh, your first Florida sighting of Clyde, Chad. He is alive. He went on an adventure today. He snuck out through the gate, and I had to, he ran all the way across the neighborhood. Him and Brody. And I had to go find him, and I couldn't keep up with him. So, yes. He's like, catch me, fat man. He did get caught. Some kids in the area. He ran over to them, and then they brought him back to me. So Clyde and Brody are both in trouble. So they were not good boys today. Not good boys today. So I want to set you down, buddy. Okay. Also, guys, if you're new, this is our dog, Clyde. He's such a good boy normally when he doesn't run away. Oh. He kind of knocked the gate over, and I was grabbing the garbage can. I turned around, and he's in the front yard, and I tried to get him, and he just took right off. All right, buddy. I'm going to set you on the ground. Here you go. There you go, bud. You're a good boy. Such a good boy. Clyde is so handsome. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Somebody's saying no self-towers. Clyde is the only self-tower you can do. Clyde Towers, Bonbon Towers, Laney Towers. Those are all towers you can do. Those are all free build towers. I need a golf cart fund. Yeah. Funny. I don't want him to run free. Jefferson Post says, would 35 years feel like a win were he your client? I mean, it's better than the alternative, yeah, but I'd like to think we could have probably pled out to something a lot better than that. I'd like to think we could have pled out something a lot better than that, because that's, I mean, yeah, it's better than 99 years, but that's just like you're falling out of the 3rd-story window instead of the 10th-story window. You're still going to die. So, yeah, I don't think it's the best. Richard Gruber says, could a defendant's reaction to the verdict affect the sentencing, like lack of empathy or something other than devastated? Sure. If Karmelo got found guilty and he's just like, fuck you guys, I'd do it again. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'm sure the jury would be like, oh my God, this guy's a psychopath. We need to lock him up forever. I don't, certainly that could factor into it. But, it all depends. It all depends on what they saw. I'm sure him bawling like a bitch wasn't, yeah. So, the Amateur Concuss getting 5 subs. Thank you. Thank you for your support, your generosity. Clyde just wanted to pull down a bikini bottom. Yeah. Thank you. Bronco says the sentencing is right now. Yeah, descendancy, it is going on. He got 35 years. 35 years, which better than nothing. Better than nothing. Can we do Brody Towers? Of course you can. Any of the dog towers. Carmelo's family went out drinking before the verdict came back. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If it was my kid, I might go have a drink. Like, I don't know. Like, sure, they're inconsolable. Like, that's how people cope. Is it the best way to cope? No, but in that situation, like I said, I understand it. I understand it. Justin Evans says he only gets a good time. He's a good boy. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. He'll be eligible for parole, but does that mean he's automatically going to get it? No. Is he going to show remorse? That's going to be one of the biggest things. Is he going to show that he's, rehabilitated himself? Is he engaged in classes? Is he stayed out of trouble? All that stuff's going to be mattering to him. And we'll see. We'll see how he goes. They'll be fine with the GoFundMe money, says Duncan 8. And that money's only going to go so long, man. I'm sure they burned through most of that by now. It's only been a year. That $600K, you can burn through it fast. $35 ain't enough, but it works. I mean, certainly should it be longer? Yes, but I can live with 35. Till he's like in his 50s and he's an old man, I think that's a better way. Gene Williams, good to see you. Gene says, how about Rob Reiner's son requesting his trust fund? Well, I mean, that would be, it depends on how it's all worded. But as we talked about before, there are like Slayer statutes that if you kill somebody and make that happen, you don't get the money. But we'll see. We'll see. Keith Gunn says he doesn't deserve to get time served. Constitutionally, everybody's entitled to get their time served as part of their jail time credit. So he's going to have whatever little bit of jail time credit he has applied to his 35 years. So 35 years minus however many days he was in jail. The house arrest and all this bail time does not count. Will the Metcalfs have the right to appear at parole board hearings? Oh, 100% they will. They're going to appear. Prosecutor's going to be able to appear. Now, they appear, they could send letters. And if you guys ever watch on Mandoo, Mandoo, he's a guy who shows all the Louisiana State Parole Board hearings and the Connecticut State Parole Board hearings. Surprisingly enough, those are posted here on YouTube. Like, they're streamed live. Like, guys in prison trying to get out on parole. Those people show up on Zoom doing that at times, too. But yeah, and then in Ohio, they write to the judge and say, what do you think? I've had cases where we're trying to get everybody out, and the judge is like, no, fuck this guy. So there's a lot of people. Everybody's got a say in this. Could the governor pardon him? 100%. If Beto O'Rourke became governor and was like, I'm pardoning this guy. Now, remember, in Texas, they have the Board of Pardons. So that board has to say yes, and then the governor can do it. The governor of Texas has a very limited power. It's not like in states like Ohio where the governor can just be like, pardon, 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 pardon. Texas is a very limited way to do it. Somebody says, love Mandu. Yeah, it's pretty good sometimes when you hear stuff there. Judges can deny credit for time served sometimes. Yeah, but that's because if you have like multiple cases going on at the same time, or like there's extradition time. But generally speaking, they can't deny you jail time credit for the most part. That's a general rule. Walter Malone says, is everything going to stay sealed? Heard the defense had trash fire closer, and I want to hear it. I don't know. I mean, certainly the transcript should be available at some point. Are we going to get the audio? I don't know about that. Will the exhibits be available? Sure. I mean, that's all going to get filed as part of the appeal anyway. But yeah, we should be able to get a copy of the transcript at some point. And that will be interesting to go through because we won't have anything else. Well, Leah Smile says, I won't, I think 35 years is fair. I don't know. Is he going to rack up a record and cause more problems? Yeah, maybe that could be true. You never know. You never know. You never know what'll happen to him. You never know. I'd like to think he can make the most of himself in there and try to atone for what he's done and rehabilitate himself, and ultimately he'll come in and, realize what he did and, fix his life. Angela says he got 35 years. Yeah, he got 35 years. He's eligible for parole at 17 and a half, but that doesn't mean he's going to get it. But yes, he's eligible for parole halfway through. There's video of the family crashing out. Let me see that. I want to see that a little bit. Where is this? What county is this? Collin County, east of Dallas. Yeah. So let me see here. Is there any? Let me see here. If there's video of it, I really want to see it because I'm kind of curious. And this all comes on the eve of Karmelo or for the Metcalfs. He would have been graduating, but his twin brother did graduate, and that was, he made his way up, took his diploma, and grabbed his brother's diploma. So. Jam, no, parole at 17, not 7. Halfway he gets parole. Oh. You'd have Carmelo plea? Oh, I'd be trying to work out a plea deal. The thing is, the trial was stupid. Jerry says, why no lecture chair? Because there was no death penalty here. There was no death penalty, and honestly, this doesn't meet the requirements for a capital murder case. I mean, it's heinous and senseless, but, you know, as Andrew Bronca says, you know, these murders are almost always senseless, and they are. Most of these court cases, the violence you see people commit, it's all senseless violence, where it's for stupid reasons like drugs and other crap, which makes it senseless and stupid. Amon says, girl sent it to me. Okay, I'll look for it here. Yeah, and that's the thing, 17 years, not 7, guys. I know you guys are getting, like, worried here, so. Yeah, he's 1 month for being 18. Yep. Oh, okay, we got some. Carmelo's mom went live talking about all this. I mean, I actually kind of curious to see what she says. Let's see here what she says. Here we go. Return a bitch. Here we go.
I'm okay. I just got worked up. I'm all
This
right.
is Carmelo's mom, apparently.
Anyways, I came here to cover a trial, and that's a
Oh, so this is not his mom? Okay, this is not his mom. You guys are saying it's not his mom. Okay. Sarah Fields is saying it's not his mom. You guys are saying it's not his mom. Okay. Anyways, let's see what she's saying. Let's see what she's saying here. Still, let's listen to this.
I'm doing. So I'm gonna give y'all a quick update. We only have a little bit. So far there has been 3 witnesses. The first one. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm surrounded by Black Panthers right now, so they protected me. So the first witness was a 17-year-old who goes to Centennial.
Okay, yeah, that happens. Yes, he's a witness to the crime, lady.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna come back.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that's how this happens. There were some other things, though. Hold on, chat. Why will this not? I hate this when Twitter will not let it pause. Keep trying to pause it. So here we go.
Them fake motherfuckers. Let me out of here.
Like any other race to come in our life and do whatever they want to do to us. And we cannot defend ourselves. They gave them 35 years.
Them
I mean,
fake motherfuckers.
he got 35 years because he stabbed somebody and had no reason to do it. So, yeah. Why didn't make the chat watch that? Well, I thought it was the mom. Somebody said it was the mom for a second, so. We'll see, though. this is, just zero accountability. Yeah, it sucks it happened, but once again, Karmelo didn't have to do this. Karmelo didn't want to have to do this. The commentary at Court TV was awful. I heard about that, that it's racist or anything. No, you're not allowed to stab people. If you do and you don't have a right to do it, you're going to prison. Like, honestly, you could change the races of all this and everybody goes to prison every time. I just don't understand the nonsense coming out of people's mouths. So, yes, but why people? Yes. Yeah, it's just, I just don't understand what people are doing here. Could have been because of all the minors, it wasn't televised. No, Razor's Edge, because we've had cases like that before, like the Nikolai Mew trial we covered. By the way, chat, welcome everybody. If you guys are new, my name's Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm an Ohio licensed attorney. I just moved to Florida, so we're trying to cover this just because it's like breaking news. And we cover legal stuff, all kind of things. We also, cover trials as they go on. The Nikolai Mew one was a trial we covered where there were minors who testified, and some of them didn't want to be seen, so they weren't shown. And in the there's other trials where we've shown people, they don't show up on screen, they're children, so they could have been skipped around or muted, but we could have heard the majority of the adult people. Definitely could have happened. But it's I'm sure the court uses it as an excuse, but remember, I think a lot of judges are cowards when it comes to not letting us watch stuff and letting us see how this, the people have a right to see how the spaghetti or, the sausage is made, and it should happen. It ensures fairness in the system. Can name best name. Why is that the jury decided it? In Texas, that is by law, that is the jury's role and function. Were this in Ohio or most other states, the judge decides it. But in Texas, they're different. Texas, the jury gets to decide. So that's just merely, once again, guys, we talk about this all the time. Every state is a little different. Every state does something a little different than the other states. And this is one of those unique ones. Texas, I think other states do too. But Texas is one of the more prominent people there. So, but that's a very good question. Very good question. And then Gene's asking a very good question here. Will he be released if there's an appeal that's filed? No. There are times where people do get appeal bond. And then when you get appeal bond, it's generally because the court's recognizing, like, okay, there's something here. You may not be guaranteed to win, but there's like a there when it comes to your case and some issues that were being argued. In this situation, though, I think, the judge can be like, no, this is clear-cut murder. He clearly stabbed this kid. He had no right to do so, and he killed him. So, no, I think the judge is going to say no appeal bond, and the courts of appeals are not going to grant appeal bond on this, especially a murder. At some point, when it gets to murder, you're kind of toast until you win your appeal. And that's not, and I don't think he should get it at this point. I think it's very clear-cut what he did. Judges are scared and weak at times. They can be. How about the Pino trial? The judge allowed streaming, but nobody can have live chats. I didn't know about. Is this the guy down in Florida? I mean, I'll stream it and have a live chat just as a big fuck you to him. He can't dictate that to people. That is so far outside his scope. Although I'm in Florida now, so I would be under his jurisdiction, but I'd do it anyway. I might do that tomorrow anyway, just see what happens. Louisiana does it too. Yeah, some states do. And I think he was better off letting the jury instead of the judge choose it, but I'm sure the judge was going to nuke his boots off anyway, Carmelo's. Night Fighter says, Collin County courts have a blanket no cameras policy, not just this case. Well, technically, most courts generally have a no cameras policy. You have to apply as a member of the press and get permission to televise something. There are some courts that have like Zoom or a camera on, but generally speaking, when it comes to hearings and things like that, a lot of times the default mode for courtrooms across America is no cameras, and it's up to you to ask to bring them in. But it's a good point, Night Fighter. Thank you. I hope that, so yes, you're right in a way, but it's generally speaking for everybody. You can't just bring in a camera. You have to get permission. What do you think they're going to argue on an appeal? There's only so much you can argue on an appeal in this case. You're probably going to argue like the manifest weight of the evidence, was not enough to meet the burden. There's an insufficiency of the evidence, although a lot of times those kind of merge together on appellate issues. So you're going to get your insufficiency in the manifest weight. When you're doing appellate work, you always argue ineffective assistance because, that's just the nature of the game. I've been trial counsel before, and I know they've argued ineffective assistance. They're like, just so you know I'm doing it. And I'm like, whatever you got to do, man. I want my client to win. You take care of that. Those are really going to probably be the biggest things. There was an issue about the racial makeup of the jury. There were no black people on the jury. There were other minorities. Now, if there were black people in the jury pool and they were struck for peremptory challenges that weren't for cause, there might be an allegation. I don't think this was alleged at all because I didn't hear any of the news reports mention it. You would do what's called a Batson challenge. There's a Supreme Court case, Batson versus Kentucky, or Kentucky versus Batson. And the issue is, like, you can't just kick everybody that's a member of that defendant's race off the jury. If you start using preparatories, you have to show a non-racial animus into doing it. When I was a prosecutor, I had a case with a guy, I think he was Guatemalan or Honduran, and there was a Hispanic guy in the jury, and I ended up removing him for I moved a preparatory removal. I'm just like, don't want him on. And the defense attorney stood up and said they're raising a Batson challenge, claiming that, this was done for racial reasons. And I had to explain why. And I said, no, Your Honor, I used my preparatory. In the meantime, I had, when you're talking in voir dire, you write down your things you like about the guy or don't like about the guy, that he has a prior criminal record of his own. He seemed to be sympathetic to the idea that he would believe the man versus the woman solely because he's a man. And those were some things there, and that he admitted that he had some bias towards women as witnesses. And those are the reasons I removed him. The court said, okay, yeah, cool. But that is something that could happen here. I think Batson will probably be one of the bigger ones here. When are you covering Pitchford? You can clickbait it about Karmelo too. Luke, that's going to be coming up here. I'm going to do that. We got a bunch of stuff to do. 3 black jurors were struck because they were educators. Well, that's a different thing. Because you're a teacher, that becomes an issue. You don't want people who are kind of involved tangentially, possibly in this, and you don't want teachers involved. You wouldn't. If this was at a hospital, you wouldn't want nurses on the jury. So, have I ever had a court say I was ineffective? No. Oh, there was a Batson challenge. Well, thank you, Batman. I was not aware of that. Thank you. I didn't see any reports on that, but okay. But having a court say I was ineffective? No. So prosecutors said they were doing, okay, well, there you go. Well, thank you, guys. I was not aware of it. Nobody said anything about it in the news reports I was reading and the Twitter I was following. So, yeah, they'll be raising a Batson issue then. Is that going to go anywhere? No. Luke is saying the main question is probably going to be how many white teachers got on the jury. I mean, the problem is, and this is something you have to tell people, absent like being in a super inner city situation, your jury's going to be majority white. That's just the way it goes. I have to explain to people who shows up for jury duty. White people. And I have to explain to my clients, you're black. Okay. How many people show up for jury duty when they get a jury duty notice? The answer is 0. And explain to them who shows up for juries. Old people, and old people who are white. That's mainly who you get. And then you get white people who don't want to get in trouble. So they show up. You got professionals who are there and they're not happy they're there. White people are just statistically the majority race at this point. So, Jam saying best guess at a sentence. He got 35 years. He just happened a little while ago. So, Luke, you're bringing up, well, they gotten the 3 on. Yeah, but you have to show, like, the animus. Now, you could argue that the actions of the prosecutor before and after that show they really were being racist, but you're going to have to show that. And it's really hard to make a Batson challenge. But for Karmelo, you're going to go all out as a appellate attorney. You're going to raise the arguments. You have to. Eric says, did I read your super chat yet? No, not yet. Not yet. We're working on stuff here. So, J-Rock says, no Marines in Helm's Deep. Sean. Thank you. Eric Rodriguez for $5 says, I had jury duty here in Texas once. Well, thank you for being on the jury, doing your duty. Gave a guy 25 years for attempted murder. Woo. Serious business, man. Serious business. You play adult games, you get adult prizes. VTubing enthusiast says, Quiznos subs are delicious. How dare you, Sean? You're probably a Subway simp. No, I'm a Jimmy John's guy and a Penn Station guy mainly. I like Jersey Mike's, but they're kind of like, really a Jimmy John's guy, unironically. Enjoy your plastic and DN slop. That's a joke. You like what you like? Well, I do. I do like, there's no Indian food where I'm at, which is good. VTubing enthusiast says, chat seems to agree. My subs are great. My family subs are great. Amateur ag biochemist who's been a member for 38 months says, monkey face, goat. I don't get it, but thank you for being here. Maverick Cuba, or Tony Montana is a political prisoner from Cuba. Says, every black queen is Karmelo's mom. Every black king is Karmelo's dad. Fight the power. Is it justice or just us? Thank you for $5. Whiskey77 says, Fox reports 35-year sentence. Yep. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. T-Rex Travels for $9.99. Says, so did the supporters think it was self-defense, or they generally think that since black people have been oppressed, they should get away with murder? I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, kind of shaping both things, but I'm sure. I mean, think about how many people think Kyle Rittenhouse gunned down a bunch of black people. There are a lot of people out there who still think Kyle Rittenhouse committed a hate crime and shot black people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. 6 years on, and we still have that issue. So no, it's not something that's going away. It's not something going away. There's all kinds of things we hear about George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin still all the time. Firehouse is better than Jimmy John's? No, it's not. Firehouse is bleh. Firehouse is awful. Oh, yes, Luke, and this is something we do need to cover. Speaking of another thing to cover, besides Pitchford. Out of New Zealand, there's an interesting murder case that got overturned and is going to get retried, possibly. It's got an interesting story in case to it. Donovan says, is that toilet paper or paper towels? It's toilet paper. Jersey Mike's is better in quality than Subway. Well, yes, it is, but Subway's awful. Gene says, can you have a criminal record and serve on a jury? Yeah, you can. Certainly. I mean, but think about it. Like, if you have a DUI and you get called to court and you're on a jury for a DUI case, you know, prosecutors probably not. Well, it all depends. You know, you're going to be a crapshoot for a person. You might be like, fuck DUI laws. I know what it did to me. Or you might say, you know what I did was wrong. If you got a DUI, fuck you too. There's a big risk there. But generally speaking, you know, when people have criminal convictions, but it all depends on what's going on. Somebody's like, yeah, I got disorderly conduct 35 years ago when I was like 18. We're not worried about that guy. But no, I've had jurors, people on a jury panel before, you know, they had felony convictions that they had since served their time and they had their rights restored. So in Ohio, you have to apply after a certain amount of time after your sentence is over, you can apply to have your rights restored, including the right to vote and the right to jury duty. And yeah, you can serve on the jury. Now, generally speaking, you're going to get tossed off a jury like a bad habit. So if you're out there with a felony conviction, sorry, just, I may want you on the jury, but a prosecutor's going to boot you, and the judges, and they might even get away with doing it for cause. So, but no, that said, though, I've had people been called for jury duty while currently on felony probation. I've had, and this is the funniest thing, a judge will say, first of all, I just want to ask everybody, is everybody here a resident of Lake County, Ohio? Or Ashtabula County, Ohio? Or Geauga County, Ohio? And you know what happens? There are people who are not, who still raise their hand because they got a jury duty summons. For some reason, they kind of live near the county line, so they got a jury duty notice. And they're like, but I'm not an Ashtabula County resident. And for some reason, they didn't call ahead on it. They probably could have gotten that taken care of. But they showed up, and the judge is like, what do you mean? And they say, like, I got this. And they're like, yeah, that address is not inside the county. And they're like, have a great day. So all kinds of funny stuff happens with juries. All kinds of funny stuff happens with juries. The Cuban sandwich is the king of all. Yeah, I love a good Cuban. I love a good Cuban. Yes, now you can get a real one. I know. I'm looking forward to that. WTF comments says Karmelo Anthony on the witness stand video on my channel. He didn't go on the witness stand unless he was up there for sentencing. Him going up there would have been a bad idea. He would have got savaged. No. Stacy says, had that on my med malpractice. One lady had moved and she still had to serve. Moving's different. Moving is different. I'm talking about you were never a citizen of that jurisdiction. So, like, you lived the next county over, you lived there for 50 years type of thing. Moving's different. Moving's different. I'm going to be the bear in the Charmin commercial, says Katie. Yeah, but I'm a bidet guy myself anyway. So, thank you, Katie, for $4.99. User WJ blah, 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 blah says, Cuban sandwiches on the east coast of Florida are bad. But there's Miami. Are you telling me that the Cubans in Miami suck at this? Okay. Cuban sandwiches on the West Coast are better in the proper way. My parents are snowbirds and they live in Naples. Like, there's not a lot of Cuban food in like the Naples or the West Coast of Florida. So I don't know where you're going for that, but okay. But I will go seek it out. I will go seek out good Cuban coffee too. That stuff's good. That stuff's like jet fuel. Let me see here. Yeah, Cubans are the best sandwich I've ever had. They're okay. Chip Micro is saying he'll be eligible for parole at some point after serving a portion of the sentence. But violent crimes like this, he often denies early on. Yeah, and just like Mackenzie Shrilla, I know people are going through that that documentary. We'll probably recap some things so we could talk about it. Yeah, you generally aren't eligible for parole right away. So I bet he does at least 25 years before he gets out, which he probably should. Yeah, he'll be in structured housing or, things here. Standard procedure for all Texas Department of Criminal Justice felony inmates from North Texas counties like Collin County. Families can check the inmate once he's processed for location updates. And that's the thing. He's going to have access to his family. He'll be able to, send out letters, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he's not going to like prison, man. Let's see here. Tampa's the birthplace of the Cuban sandwich? Really? What? No way. Huh. So let's just stop avoiding the case of Jimenez versus Silhouette. Okay. Is that left in my COVID stockpile? No. Like I said, we were, for 2 weeks, 2.0 was down here with her sister and brother-in-law. They were working on getting stuff ready, and they just bought a bunch of stuff. Bought in bulk. So we got toilet paper for a long time. Maverick Cuba says Cuba's real last name, it's Polish. Originally Subak. Okay, cool. Based. Well, that sounds almost Czech almost, but yeah, there you go. Sean Sandwich Sundry for $14.88. I get it. I get it. Thank you. I did not see what you did there. User WJ says, I will show you, Sean. Cuban sandwiches are from Ybor City or Ybor City. That's like merge territory. Interesting. Okay. 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 Let's see here. Soul Leak saying 35 years served in full, no parole. I mean, that would be very fitting. Bradle says, what model kit is that? It looks like an SPG. Yes, I forget. The name tag fell off, but yes, somebody sent me a 1995 Revell M109 here, meaning the German Army version of this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. This is an old model kit. So 30-year-old model we're going to work on. That was just in the top of one of the boxes, but we have I have a whole box of all the other models and a pile of shame to get through. So I got to find the name tag. I got to go back through it. Brown says, do you have time to make models? Yes, I do models for fun. It's kind of like the hobby. I do this every night. I mean, I don't have kids, so I can do this. And right now I've got nothing else because I've got some work I'm doing from up in Ohio down here. But I'm going to be doing this a lot because I don't have attorney work to do down here. I'm going to try to find some work to do just because I don't want to get bored. Keep my skills up, too. But, yes, I do models. I have a model channel called Sean's Model Bench. Do models. Models are a very fun thing to do. We build all kinds of cool stuff. But, yeah, have all kinds of model stuff to do. Very much enjoyed. I think the mods will probably put the link in the chat here a second after a while. Who lives longer, Blade or Ralph? Ralph. I have Clyde and you guys, yes. I only take Clyde to piano recitals once a week, yeah. Bar study prep, yeah, but none of that really happens till, that's not really going to happen till the beginning of the year. That's, bar prep is generally, 2 months out. So I'll probably start doing that at the end of the year. So for right now, we got a summer of just getting work done, getting caught up on stuff. We got trials and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm not jobless right now. I mean, I still have work I do. Stuff I still ghostwrite some appeals up north. I am trying to get some e-discovery jobs and also some attorneys down here might be looking for some help getting stuff done. So, make a buck. Got to make a buck somehow. Join the Red says, I've been building models a while. I've been spending my free time at the range. I like to go to the range too, and it's really nice because down here in Florida, the counties all have their own ranges. There's a county range, but also the amount of indoor ranges within 15 minutes of me, there's 6 or 7. And then there's a couple really base gun clubs nearby. So yeah, I'll have a lot more time to do a lot more shooting. It also helps being in Florida, so it's going to be nice all the time. And yeah, here you go. Yes. Thank you, EDW. And then Roland Art Third says, did you get your 3D printer back online? Yes, I did. 3D printer was back up and running. I printed out the inserts for my thing to hold all the bolt action guys in. So yes, we did get it saved. So we did get it saved. Anonymous says, as someone that took in a new dog recently, Brody, what advice do you have for accepting a new puppy / dog in the home? I mean, just make sure your other dogs know he's part of the group, and I don't know, especially if he's a foster or something, just make him know he's safe. Show him some love and make sure he knows that, this is a good place for him, that it's going to be Make sure he's got like a little place he can go hide, or if he wants to hang out with you. And honestly, this is a question for 2.0 really more than anything. So I can save this for if you want, but 2.0 is really the animal. Like, I love animals, but she's fostered so many dogs and cats and little kittens over the years. It's one of the things I love about her. Her heart, future Mrs. Mark 2.0 for those of you who are in the chat. Also, guys, please like and subscribe. She is a wonderful woman, and future because I'm engaged. We're not yet married. She's a wonderful woman, and she has such a way with animals. It's like Snow White-ish almost, and it's really one of the things I love about her. I think she's so sweet and gentle with them all. So she's probably the best person to answer that question. Any chance you'll guest on a Fud Blasters video? Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I talked with Matt, and once I get settled down, him and I were talking. He's like, "What's your address?" And I typed it. I gave it to him. He's like, "You're like you're like an hour and 13 minutes from me." And it's like, yeah, we're gonna hang out, probably get together, chop it up, as the kids say. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Let him adjust to you on his own terms. If he wants to, sit on a couch like away from you all the time, then let him acclimatize that way. Make sure he always knows that, like, if he'll let you pet him, pet him. But if he doesn't want to sit near anybody, just let him hang out, and then he'll tell you when it's time he wants to come be friends. And sometimes it's a long time. Lainey, I'm still not. She's still not cool with males in general, but it's taken like 3.5 years for her to let me, like, I can pet her and rub her belly, and she'll come up to me and let me do it. So it's tough. It's tough at times. It's depressing. Where is Steve Gosney these days? Isn't he in Florida? Yes, he is down in Miami. Yeah, him and I are going to meet up here coming up soon. Matt and I should go to a Floridian buffet. Yeah. So. Yeah. Not rubbing your bellies, chat. Katie says, how much to remove the toilet paper from the background? I'll take it down for the next show. Take it down for the next show. Also, guys, if you are new here, we cover all kinds of legal stuff here. Like I said, I am an attorney. We cover like different kinds of lawsuits that are out there, like Ethan Klein suing streamers for copywriting things. We've got different trials coming up, like Courtney Clenny, the OnlyFans murder. That's cases coming up. Tomorrow we're going to cover Aaron Spencer. He's the dad in Arkansas who murdered the pedophile who had abducted his daughter, and he stopped the car with the guy abducting his daughter, and he stopped him at gunpoint, and ended up murdering the pedophile. Oh well, I don't even worry. Aaron Spencer got charged with murder and faced trial, and just this past week on Friday, the court dismissed the case, and we're going to talk about what happened there. A lot of sketchy stuff happened, and finally a judge did the right thing in response to police misconduct. So we're going to do that. And then, guys, if you guys want to know, we do a live stream every Thursday night. Covers all kinds of legal topics that are out there. Speaking of that, I need to get my butt in gear and put together some things because I really don't have show topics up for this week yet because I've been too busy moving. So I'm going to work on that, but it's Thursday nights at 9:30 Eastern time. It's a very good show. I think you guys enjoy it. So hope to see you there. Wow, we still got 500 some people here, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Katie says also like and subscribe. Chat. Thank you, Katie. Can I pass you some TP? No. Get your own. Let me see. Did I miss anything else? Are you going to throw some paper towel rolls at some Puerto Ricans? Why would I throw paper towel at Puerto Ricans? I don't know. I don't get the joke. Maverick says, you want a Cuban sandwich? I'll give you one, buddy. I don't know if I like that. That sounds a little scary to me. A little homoerotic. Yep. Karate Catmon says 35 years. Yeah, 35 years. You know, and at the end of the day, like a lot of people got hurt because of Carmelo's foolish actions. His family's hurt. The Metcalfs are hurt. Austin Metcalf's dead. All those people that were at the school, you know, these kids watched their friend die. The teachers are dealing with all of it. All kinds of problems. All kinds of problems there. That happened. Oh, you guys are talking. I don't remember this in the Trump term when the hurricane came through and he threw toilet paper or paper towels. I forget. You guys remember that better than I do. Trump's done so many like goofy things and cringe things and gaffes. It's like it's hard to keep track of them all. It's like hard to keep track of Joe Biden's. Like they're just cringe machines. That's what they are. Also, we got to catch up on Tyler Robinson. Yes, they are allowing cameras for the preliminary hearing to the Supreme Court, which may push it back a little bit further. Yeah, I think there should be cameras allowed. I mean, eventually there's going to be cameras at trial, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, we're going to cover, guys, one more thing we'll get into here. What's going on over in Northern Ireland, also known as England. And so let's see. Let's pull this up here. So you guys weren't sure what's going on in – where is – dang it, I just – where is it? Dang it, I just lost it. Yeah, too many. I'm pulling a Kershaw, and I got too many tabs running. Jeez. So we're going to get into what's going on over across the pond. Over in Northern Ireland, there was a knife attack, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Hold on here. Yeah. And things are about to boil over. If you guys weren't aware, the Irish have been having problems with immigration and immigrants for a while. And it's not just like the Northern Irish. The Irish all over Ireland have been having problems with immigration. But in Northern Ireland, this is one thing, the immigration and the violence they bring that's been happening has taken like the Protestants and the Catholics, the Ulstermen and the Republicans, they are like together. The victim is deaf and had his eyes gouged out. Yep, there was a brutal stabbing attack in Belfast. It's a capital of Northern Ireland, chat. And they are now the Irish are getting upset. Yeah, it was a brutal stabbing. They tried to kill the guy. And this is on the heels of the Vikram Digwa, the guy who stabbed Henry Novak with his Sikh knife and then hid it from the police and lied and said the guy was being racist and the police let him bleed out. Well, anyway, there was the PSNI, is the Northern Irish Police Service. A Sudanese man used a kitchen knife and he straddled a guy, slashing and stabbing him, trying to cut his head off. And the Irish are not putting up with it. And the Irish, I mean, you want to see some stuff going on, chat. Here we go in Belfast. Like,
not charged. Let the justice.
There are mobs of people,
and they said we understand.
And they're looking to fight. Like, can you blame them?
Process, it impacts on
can you blame them?
We saw the community come out last night, actually saved a man's life. Members of the same community acting very heroically.
Yeah,
they're hoping that this actually does pass peacefully. People come out.
There's a lot of stuff kicking off, chat.
Peacefully, but then as we see,
and can you blame them?
Just walking home.
Why did they import all these people that just start cutting heads off? But this is becoming a big problem for the Irish, and the British, because they're in Britain. Really quick. But the Vikram Digwa thing, the guy got 21 years for murdering a guy and then covering it up.
People there, we can see them moving through the streets in Belfast. These are live pictures.
A lot of things kicking off, chat. We may do a riot stream tonight. I don't know. I don't know. The guy survived. Yeah. Yep. Girl got murdered in Paris. I mean, that's not a surprise either. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. And yeah, they're starting to realize what's going on, and it's rough. It's peak marching season in the British Isles. It is. Yeah, why couldn't it be Cuffles? So, yeah, it was an attempted beheading. Yeah, he tried to cut the guy's head off and kill him up. Yeah. So, yeah, but they're not allowing these people to do stuff here. Justin Smith has been a member for 32 months. Thank you for the support, man. Saying, don't be a bigot, ignore the mostly peaceful Shankins. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is the biggest thing here is the police, the media, and the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, are covering for the crimes, yep, and playing it down. It also doesn't help that the police in Britain are known for having what's called the Nudge Squad, where it's a group of officers and legal people who come over and say, like, you better not end up looking like you're inciting anything because we'll blame it on you. You better watch yourself if you're the victim of anything. So, yeah, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems. Apparently, the Irish were telling their store owners close up early to do that. They've targeted African businesses and migrant housing. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen, man. It's not a surprise.
The hope is that these protests...
It's not a surprise at all. It's not a surprise at all. It's not a surprise at all that this is happening. But yeah, that's his. You know, you'd like to say you're not surprised, but yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let me see here. But yeah, speaking of people who got stabbed, yes, that's a very kind of nice segue into that. MD Knight says, are you struggling in the Florida heat like the Euros are? It's not even hot down here yet. It's hot for me, man. P-Dub says, you fund them with Armalite products. Yeah, I get that joke. I get that joke. Roland says, I'm trying to get people in the EU and Britain to buy 3D printers. You're gonna get on list there for that. It's gonna be very restrictive and hard to do things there. So, Sweet Tooth Fairies, my special emojis with Clyde are gone. They are refreshed because they should be there. Sorry to see that. Sorry to hear that if it's not there. So, okay, well, I think that's gonna wrap us up here. Oh, we got one more super chat here. EDW Raptor for $5. Says, from the Atlantic to the Irish Sea. And Chad, if you don't know the Irish Sea, that is the water in between Britain and Ireland. Ireland will be free. Well, free of luck. They're already free of snakes. St. Patrick did that. All right. So, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. We are going to wrap this up. And why is this not clicking over yet? Oh, yeah, other people have them. Other people have their things here. You've had no emojis for days on iPad and iPhone? Don't know what's going on. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. What's the heat and the humidity? Well, I can handle the heat. The humidity is what gets me. Gets a lot of people. It gets a lot of people, to be fair. To be fair. Model stream? No, not tonight. We still don't have model stuff unpacked. So, no V2. We will get with one. Maybe we have one tomorrow night. Maybe. You know what? If I can get enough model stuff put together, I will. We'll do model stream tomorrow night. How about that? We'll try. We'll do that. Oh, Scotty's saying there's some mobile problems. Oh, that's a bummer for people. So, all right, chat. With that said, tonight, thank you all for being here. Guys, over 500 of you this whole time. I appreciate it. And, yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah. As a fellow fat, humidity is awful for fats in Florida. Well, thank you. If there is any rioting, we'll pop on and check, either place, but I don't think so. I mean, right now it's like 3 a.m. over in the British Isles, and it's only 8:30 over in Texas, but I doubt it's going to happen. So, with that said, tonight, chat, thank you guys all for being here. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although, Karmelo, oh, buddy, you are guilty AF. Guilty AF. Well, there's no rioting tonight so far, so no riot stream. If there is rioting, we will have a riot stream. Okay, it says, if you were declared ineffective, what would happen to your legal career? I mean, not a whole lot. People don't know about it. Like, you know, and it all depends on, like, what it is you did. So, but no, I've not had that happen. So, oh, there's a press conference, Katie? Oh, where? If there's a press conference, send me the link. Dab me up. Where's the press conference? I'll definitely do that. Mario, yeah, you're saying little malpractice, but you have to be like, malpractice can trigger, but you have to. But it's not always malpractice necessarily. But yeah, it could, but we'll see. Yeah, if you guys have the link, you guys are saying this is happening. Let's see a link here. Let's see here. I'm trying to check Twitter real quick. We'll see. All right, guys, let's see here. We did a chat. Yeah, hold on here. Let's see. Is there a link? Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's Austin's family. Okay, well.
Violence like this won't be tolerated in our Collin County community, and we remain committed to protecting our schools and standing with victims and their families. Thank you.
This is Austin's family.
Okay, that's it. All right. Okay. Take care, sir. Thank you, sir. Cool.
As always.
The district attorney, Greg Willis, saying today justice was served in Collin County.
Okay, using the courthouses or using the courtroom itself, that is very inappropriate. They should not be allowed to use the courtroom for that. They should find another place to do that. Judge should not be allowing to use the courtroom for that.
Thanking everyone who was involved in this trial, expressing gratitude as well to the jury. And we saw Jeff and Megan and Hunter, Metcalf Hunter, the twin brother, who had his brother die in his arms. They did not take questions, but they wanted to stand there to represent Austin Metcalf.
And we did not.
Oh, there's some bad tattoos.
First Assistant Bill Werski,
who
masterfully executed his prosecutorial plan over these last days. We did not hear from him.
Masterfully. It wasn't that hard. The kid stabbed everybody.
I wanted to hear from him tonight, and we did not. Or the family, outside of their victim impact statements, they did not speak.
How was this masterful? I mean, the kid stabbed everybody, admitted to doing it. Like, I think a lot of people could have got, like, you know, first year law students probably could have got this done.
At this moment.
This is slam dunk as a kid.
Those statements spoke volumes.
Yes, and loud.
When they did speak. Leaving the courtroom, and
let's see if we're going to hear from the defense team.
I wonder if
I would guess
they might
out of the courtroom already. I would think, unless they're in the defense room, if you will. There's a workroom.
See, like, and why does that guy have his rifle out slung across his chest? Like, come on, guys.
So in the Collin County courthouse,
that's
when you enter the first set of double doors to either side, left and right, there are rooms. One is the prosecution workroom, one is the defense workroom. And then you come right out of those doors and you can enter right into the court. They could be in the workroom.
Okay.
With their clients or without. There you see, talking to, with his head to turn to us, there's Steve Stoller, Clarice, there talking to Greg Willis.
Oh, yes. Right. Okay, Steve just turned around.
There he is.
Used to be a reporter here at Fox 4, and he's retired. He was a PIO, for the city of Plano. Retired, moved to Florida.
And they brought him back
because of this trial. Yeah.
So
let's see if there's let's see if anybody's going to go live here. I'll cover this for a second here. Oh,
forgive us for having that moment, but Steve Stoller, we worked together many years ago.
Yes, we did.
Yes, he was sentenced already. 35 years.
Well, wondering, does it look like we are going to hear from the defense?
I would say it does
not
at this moment.
So,
I would say it doesn't.
Well, no, Jesus loves me. I'm not saying to go do it outside, but like you could have found another room inside the courthouse to do it. There's meeting rooms, conference rooms, all kinds of places, a hallway. Doing it inside the courtroom is not the proper place for this, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's bring in you want to talk to Clarice?
Bree.
Okay, let's bring in Bree for a minute because I don't think that there was anything that we heard from the district attorney that surprised us tonight, though he reminded us what he told us a year ago. When this first happened, he said, I told everyone to be patient, watch process work, and today, quote, the process
let's see what this is.
Delivered accountability. That's what we heard from him today. Talk about that, Bree West.
And I think that, thank you, Sean. I think that that's exactly what you would expect to hear from a district attorney, right? I over the fact that this case sort of started a year ago and we're all.
I mean, yeah, the prosecutor did a great job. He wasn't dabbing on the kid or doing anything like that. So, I mean, you're spurring it out about an armed police officer or Black Panther outside. He doesn't need to be in that courtroom. I'm sure they have multiple layers of security. They have multiple layers of security. Like, it just doesn't need to be done the right way. So, yes, inside the courtroom suggests judicial imprimatur on one side instead of impartiality. It does. It does give that vibe, and that's one thing that like can be brought up on an appeal. Now, is that going to set aside everything? No, but you don't make your case to the point where you don't induce failure points if you don't have to. So, well, Mario's correct. Yeah. That's the commissioner court, aka the county board's meeting room, not a trial courtroom. Okay, well, if that's the case, then fine. I thought that was the trial, like where they did stuff. So, could Russell Greer have won this case? Maybe. It's Texas. They aren't known for being the brightest. Why are we assuming it's the same courtroom? Because a lot of courts do that, and a lot of times that happens. Edward says, have you seen Black Twitter? Yeah, but you just doing it right inside there. There's a million places you can do it. Like, it's not that big. So I need to get AT&T fiber. We have AT&T, and we have their fiber. If I'm having problems, I thought 2.0 about that. We'll get that sorted out. Anyways, guys, that is it for me here. We are going to wrap up. Happy trails to Karmelo Anthony. 35 years, bro. Hope you thought it was worth it. Hey, but you know what? At least ain't nobody giving you no shit today. You got your way, man. You got your way to tell all those kids that nobody was going to fuck with you, and you showed them. So, such a foolish way to throw your life away. Such a foolish way to throw your life away. But, good job, Karmelo. And with that said, guys, again, remember, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Except Karmelo, you are absolutely 100% guilty. And I think we all saw that coming. So it's not a surprise to anybody. Good night, chat, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, around same time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then Peter Keys for two New Zealand dollary doodles. Says model takes and toilet paper, the essentials. Yes. Thank you, Peter. Good to see you. So good night, chat, and I will talk to you guys later. And I could start the ending song.
Weapons black. locksmithing and models of planes, esoteric works and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fact